You did actually physically bring receipts like I'm your accountant.
Receipts. I got these receipts.
Still working on the Desiree Burch case. I'm 18 bags deep.
I mean, she hid some in the walls. My currently preferred brand of Vulva Balm, which is Vulva Balm.
People out there recommending oregano/oregano oil.
Yes.
Why is no one mentioning the vulva cream?
Yes, I went direct. I bought them wholesale.
Wow.
Bought some wholesale. So.
Yeah, it's not the sort of thing that if you're wandering around Costco, you necessarily find. Hello and welcome to Spend, brought to you in association with Nationwide, a good way to bank. It's the show where our guests show us the receipts. Literally, in this case, we're going to dig through things they've bought, things they've loved, things they regret, and things that make absolutely no sense at all. And along the way, I hope to find out a little bit more about who they are. And this week, I have the pleasure to be joined by comedian, actress, TV icon, Desiree Burch. Desiree, you laughed then because you did actually physically bring receipts like I'm your accountant.
Receipts. I got these receipts. And if, you know, this is me holding on to, this is me being a hoarder probably, right? But also it's just like photographing. I'm like, well, and also how much stuff do we buy online?
I know.
It is so easy just to go into your Gmail and be like, receipt.
Do you know what?
Receipt.
I respect it because I occasionally get asked for like, can you get a receipt? Or the worst is when someone says, can you prove your address? Like if you're applying for something with a council.
That's way worse.
And you're like, I don't know where I put a physical bill. I don't know. I have no proof that I exist. But the fact that you were able to go, yeah, I found my 3 answers and I found the receipts is unbelievable.
I mean, it might just be a mark of my age. I think if you're probably 3 years younger than me, you're like, whatever, I bought it. It's in my bank statement. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas I was like, I have the documentation.
Yeah, a full shoebox of crumpled paper arrived at the office.
I mean, you joke, but I've only recently just gotten rid of boxes of things. I'm like, that's beyond the 7-year mark. No one's ever going to come and ask you to prove. Yeah.
All those financial crimes you did back then. It's fine now. You've got away with them. Do you have a filing cabinet? Do you have a physical place for these physical receipts?
Okay, so oh my God, this is so bad. So I do have a small filing cabinet into which lots of documents go that is overstuffed. And if you want to look for something, you're going to destroy things trying to get it out. And also the receipts for a long time were just in random bags. Like that's the problem. It's like you can't half-ass the organization, right? You know, it's just like, if you're going to keep them, then file them. Don't just put them in a big carrier bag.
Right, so there's no filing.
That just says 2018. And
and it's just stuffed full of receipts.
Yeah, at some point I went through and I just photographed all of them, you know, and go like, okay, if anyone comes to audit me, don't do that though, please.
Yeah, you'll have a nightmare. This is great. You're putting them off. They're like, I don't want to raid through a load of bin bags of...
There's one person there who's like, I just need one project that I can lie that's going to take 4 years, and these bags are it.
Yeah, what are you working on? Still working on the Desiree Burch case. Yeah. I'm 18 bags deep.
Yeah, I mean, she hid some in the walls. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, my house doesn't need insulation, so yeah.
Well, listen, I really hard relate to that. When I used to run a market stall years ago, and I did my own accounting, which basically looked like chaos.
Yes.
And I was very much a fan of the stick it in a plastic bag. And then you realize, if I ever need it, I'm going to be the one that has to search through and check every single one. And they'll all have faded. So I'll spend no, that one's something else. No, that one's for something else. Or you get into like a Crystal Maze style machine and they all blow around you and you just grab the receipts.
Like they're cash, but it's all debt. I mean, the thing is with receipts, some of them are quite bespoke, right? Some of them have the backing that you're like, oh, I know that comes from Holland and Barrett. Or like in the States, it's like, you know, a CVS receipt because it's literally half the size of this room with like coupons and other things. You're like, oh, that long one, I absolutely know it, which is weird to become that familiar with your consumerism that you know. Like a Target receipt just jumps right out.
Yeah, you can see it from a million miles away. Like blood in the water to a shark. You're like, I can...
Only to take them to an accountant and go, none of this is valid.
Yeah. You can't use any of these things.
These are not expensive.
Have you ever tried to... What's the oddest thing you've tried to expense?
Well, I would say probably the oddest thing that I did expense is coming up later in the because of the show that I needed to expense it for. It was definitely I will. Can I just say?
Hold
Or
it
should I
back.
hold on to it?
Hold it
Yeah,
back.
the oddest thing I've tried to expense, I have expensed because they were sort of like props and involved in the show, and you're about to
Fantastic.
find out what they are.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm fascinated actually in the creative space by how far you can go with expensing something, because who's to say it wasn't for a creative endeavor?
Yeah, right. But these ones I literally brought on. They were part of the show. Ask
Yeah.
anyone who came.
It was
Some
a brand
people still
new
have them.
fridge freezer, a vacuum cleaner,
Totally.
and 6 bars of gold bullion.
And a Fiat 500 for some reason.
Exactly.
I just went crazy and
They
bought.
all were essential to the show. Please do not question my artistry.
Is that not? I mean, there are certain things that you're like, if you do it on stage, you bring it on stage. It's part of the show now. We're writing
Absolutely,
it off.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm not an accountant.
no,
so
no
I-
one here is an accountant.
Do not come to me for advice, all right? If
The comments are going to be like, this is mad illegal and I'm going to come to your house.
yeah, it's all, HMRC have got tabs on this podcast,
Yes.
so let's keep it on the straight and narrow. What's spending mean to you? What is it? Does it fill you with fear? Does it fill you with joy?
Yes. It does sort of, there's the sort of place where you are in your life where you don't have any money to spend. And so you're trying not to spend and you're just trying to keep the meter that is running the minute you walk outside of your house kind of low, right? And you're just like, okay, how little can I do outside and still have a fully fledged life? But then once you start spending, then it's, at least to me, I think some people maybe keep a ledger or something if they're better at their finances. To me, it just becomes this sort of black box mystery of like how much I'm racking up over the course of a day, just like going to the train station. Oh, I forgot to eat. I'm going to get a sandwich here. Like, let me tap in there. Oh, we're going to go to this conference. So it just starts to pile and pile and pile up. And then suddenly you kind of look at a month's worth of credit card like swipes. And then you go, oh, like, where's this all going? And it's just like 10 here, 20 there, as opposed to being like, oh, let me just spend 500 quid on one thing that I actually intended to purchase. So it is a place where I go kind of like, and then later go like, which is why I get afraid of it and try not to spend. But once I've started to spend, it's just racking all up.
Yeah, you can't turn that tap off.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first thing that you saved up for?
No. I know this is a question you ask, and I was trying to think of this. And the first thing I can remember that I saved up for is the house I bought 3 years ago. And
Really?
I'm sure I've saved before that, but I don't know.
That's a baller answer.
The first time I
First-
saved
first
any
time I
money was
saved?
a
Bought
lot
a
of
house.
money.
Yeah.
It was all the money I'd made that I handed over to live in the shed that I call home. But I just, I'm trying to think of, oh, did I have a piggy bank or whatever? But even as a kid, it was just sort of begging parents for money that you
Yeah.
could then go walk around the mall with all day long. And then you come home. So it wasn't like, oh, I saved up for, and I didn't like save up for college. I got like, grants and loans and
Yeah.
then spent, up until like 15 minutes ago paying those off. So I'm trying to think of a thing that I was like, or you use a credit card when I finally got credit again, because they give those cards to you in college and then they expect you to ruin your life for at least
Yeah.
the next decade, which I totally did with aplomb. So, when I'm thinking of saving, like where I'm like putting money away toward a thing, it was that. Like, I can't think of like, oh, I was going on holiday or whatever.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things usually are just like, I'm going to charge it now and then really pay for it later.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
not go.
No, do you know what? I think it's a cool answer. It's a cool answer to be like, yeah, I stayed up and I got a house. I
Oh,
like
right.
that.
I mean, but like, I saved up, 15 seconds ago. The rest of my life, I was just being bad with money.
Yeah.
/ never having any.
And pre-comedy, what else did you do to make money?
Oh, okay. So many things. So, how far back do we want to go?
Well, what was the first job?
The first job I had was working at a movie theater for $3 an hour because that's legal. And was because I was on probationary wages for 3 months.
Balls.
It was a summer job. So
Yeah.
I was only ever going to be on probationary wages, but it was a movie theater in my town, which was like, fine because you're a teenager, you're making not enough money to like clean up popcorn and see movies all summer long.
Exactly. You get to see the movies. Fine.
Which is, you can't just get paid in passive, like we're just showing movies so you can do that, but they call that payment. So that was the first job. And I think around that time, I also got a job selling knives door to door, which is
Okay.
an insane thing to say out loud.
Yeah, it
But
does seem strange.
it's
You knock on the
crazy.
door.
Where you're like,
Ah!
hey, suburban moms, I'm the random black kid in your neighborhood with a knife. So yeah, that was interesting. I mean, look, I had that job for 2 days. Like, I sold some knives to like my best friend's grandma because she was like, I guess you're selling knives and let me buy this knife that's really good at cutting things. But this was still in the era, and I did grow up in an era where people sold things still at the door. Like,
Yeah.
we had an Encyclopedia Britannica. No, sorry, the Funkin' Wagnalls, right? That was the off-brand encyclopedia
Yeah.
that somebody came to our door and was like, you should get your kids encyclopedia so they could learn stuff. And obviously, this is before the internet because I remember getting the internet late.
Yeah.
So that was still a time when people came to your door and like got you to buy stuff. I guess they do that now, but it's mostly like for charity.
Yeah, they do that for charity. All cleaning products we get sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that yet.
Or like window cleaning. That happens
Okay.
door to door.
But that's-
but you're talking about a physical thing that you would buy.
Yeah, well, it's like you know, he's there with he's there with A,
Yeah.
right? And he's showing you everything that's in A and what you're gonna get with A, you know, and then they send you B through Z. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? After you've been like committed to A.
Yeah. I quite like the idea of that.
It was lovely. I got
my-
information.
My mum used to sell meat door to door.
Amazing. Yes, like steaks.
Yeah, steak,
Nice.
bacon.
This is
Yeah. And she was a vegetarian. Quite a hard sell.
She's like, somebody take this
Yeah.
from me. I cannot stand that. Was she a vegetarian because she sold meat?
No,
door
I
to
think she
door?
was vegetarian beforehand, but just needed some money and was like, right, this
She's
is
like,
a
I
job.
don't care about selling murder. The murder's happened.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's after the crime. But I love the idea in I can't imagine opening the door to someone and them having meat and going, do you want to buy this meat?
Yeah. But
I don't know who you are or
this
what that
is
meat is.
the country of the meat raffle.
Yeah.
So people were already culturally accustomed to getting their meats as and where they could.
Yes.
Right? Just like going down the pub and be like, I won some meats, right?
Mm.
Is not too far away from someone's like, hey, do you want these discount meats?
Yeah.
Also, isn't that what like Trump steaks were basically? Don't they just send you,
Yeah, door to door.
right? But like someone had to come to your door to get you to buy in to getting the rest of the steaks. Although now that's like a luxury thing. It's like you can order from a restaurant and they'll just like cold ship you like a whole bunch of seafood they just caught like in dry ice or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just
the same
selling
business
meat
model, yeah.
at the people's door.
My mum
Yeah.
was onto something.
Yes.
Okay, that's fascinating. And then just hit me with like 2 or 3 other jobs between
Yes.
then and comedy.
So, let's see. Okay, so I mean, I went to school. I worked in the dining halls at school. I worked in the libraries at school. I mean, at university. I graduated. I infamously worked as a dominatrix.
Course.
Very brief. Well, I mean, very briefly. It's been like much of a meal has been made of this, and I think I had that job for a year or less. But like, it was. My life has been a series of showing up to the party when it's kicked.
Yeah.
already. When everyone's like, oh, you should have been here before. It was great. It was like that when I got to New York. Everyone was like, man, it was great in the 90s. It's terrible now. And I got to New York like, what? I got there in May 2001 and then 9/11 happened, a couple months later. So basically, like the party ended spectacularly right in front of my face. And everyone's like, yeah, well, being in the sort of sex work industry after that, everyone's like, should have been here before 9/11. We really used to make some money before 9/11. And it's like, what you're not saying is the people who used to pay you died, maybe?
Mm.
Like, but yeah, so I think I had that job for a while, and then everyone's like, you must have made so much money. And it's like, you'd really be surprised how little money you actually make if people don't have the money to spend on being cling wrapped, while naked or
Yeah.
whatever, while you beat them or something, because that's the job. And then I eventually, before I moved here, wound up doing test prep tutoring, which is like teaching kids how to take a test they could never pass on their own. So they
Right.
could go to schools that they usually don't deserve to go into. A lot of times the kids were smart and they just wanted to like be super overachievers. When the people already have like a 4.9.
Yeah.
And you're like, is that even possible? Okay.
That 0.1 is really
Yes.
creeping them out.
Yeah, right. And you're like, okay. And sometimes they're geniuses that you're like, why am I teaching you anything? And sometimes they barely know how to read.
Mm.
And they're just really rich. And you're like, okay, well, let's waste your parents' money
Yeah.
together.
My God, what a smorgasbord of a career.
Yeah.
As a dominatrix, you probably could expense some unusual things.
You know what? If I made enough at that point to pay taxes, I definitely could have expensed a lot of the wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because, it is very specific. You aren't just wearing your regular clothes in there unless someone's requested that specifically. But yeah, it was, a lot of that a lot of those jobs at that time, even though like waiting tables, I also waited tables. A lot of that was under the table as well in terms of like you're getting paid out in cash. Nobody knows you have a job. There was my first part of living in New York was a lot of cash in hand, unemployed-esque type of job. So yes, if I was at a place where I wasn't living on the poverty line, I would have had to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And then
you would have had
I
some
could have expensed that, but at some
expenses.
point you're like, I have 3 jobs and I still qualify for food stamps.
Wow.
What is happening?
Yeah. Well,
New York is happening.
yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
You chose an expensive city.
Yeah.
Let's move on to your first receipt. Don't get it out. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm just using it
Where's my bag?
as a vehicle to talk.
You just hear a trunk backing
Exactly.
up, dumping a whole bunch of paper. All right.
Hold off the wheelie bins, please. So the first one is, what is the last thing that you bought?
The last thing that I bought was an Amazon purchase, but it was things that I get regularly. So one was oil of oregano, which you call oregano.
We do.
I once
Insist on
walked
it.
into a store and asked for oregano, and the woman looked at me like I came from Mars, and she was like, "Oh, you mean oregano?"
Oregano.
And I was like, "Mate, you know what I'm talking about. Do you like money?" So it was oil of oregano, which is like, a supplement for like, immune system boosting. And
But people who are into it, they're into it.
yeah, yes,
People,
I'm into
people.
it. I'm glad to know others are.
Are you about to preach to me? You're about to try and convert me to it? Because everyone I meet that's like, have you heard, by the way, of oregano? I say, well, I've heard of oregano.
Yeah, amazing.
And they say it's great for the immune system. You'll never have a cold again. Are you about to tell me that?
I mean, it is helpful. I do find, like, it's not like I've never had a cold again, but I also don't always remember to take my vitamins. But, when you have ever experienced any kind of deficiency in nutrition at all, you realize how impactful having enough B vitamin or D vitamin is. And so, like, things like the oil of oregano, where you're like, I've actually noticed a difference.
Okay.
So I've noticed being like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit more robust on days in which I've had very little sleep. Because I'm one of those people, if I'm getting anything less than 8 hours of sleep, by the time I get 6 hours or less, I'm gonna get sick. Like it's just a matter of time. I'm not hydrated enough. I'm not rested. Like I need the full. Some people are Oprah. Well, one person's Oprah, and she's like, I'm 5 hours, and I'm like, okay, you're some weird machine. If I got 5 hours, I would be crying in a puddle, covered in snot and disease.
God, if I got 5 hours, I'd be haunting.
Yeah,
this
but
building.
some of these people are out here functioning on 5 hours, which is why the world is bad.
Yeah.
Because on 5 hours, people suck, are evil. So yes, but the oregano oil, very, very helpful for that. So that was one of the purchases. The other one was my currently preferred brand of vulva balm, which is
Vulva balm.
vulva balm. Yes, I have a very moisturized labia everywhere.
Wow. Okay. That's. I didn't know that such a product existed, but why would I?
Yeah. So this is the thing that, I think part of it is definitely getting to perimenopause time in your
Sure.
life and being like, okay, you know what? But also literally going to a doctor was like, oh yeah, you should be moisturizing all of it because this is the same skin as that is the same skin as that. So a lot of people will moisturize their woohoo, because, the same kind of skin can get chapped, right? Now, or maybe not chapped, just dry,
Yeah.
just like not as cozy. Like I get that there's some people who don't wear lip balm. And I think if you just rock it natural, it's like the people who never wash their face.
Yeah.
And it's like, fine, I guess your body filters it out, but the rest of us are washing our face and putting lip balm on.
And you don't necessarily want to confuse the two chapsticks.
No, we can't cross streams. But I definitely went to a doctor, who was just like, yeah, you should be moisturizing everything that's got that skin on it. It's a whole, put some moisture on it. And I was like,
And how has that changed if it's not too personal a question?
no,
Your vulva.
I sent you the receipt.
You did.
I think that my vulva is just a little bit more sort of like, okay, as opposed to being like,
Right. Okay.
That's my impression.
Yeah. It's had
But,
it sounds like it's had a real
I'm just
personality
saying,
uplift.
over time, sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? Like, we're a good vulva, but we've seen some things. We've
Mm.
seen some days. Could you give us a little extra? And I was like, and when I went to go look after the doctor was like, yeah, you can use, anything that isn't too heavy on fragrance, but there are also special things. And then I went and looked up and there were like 8 different kinds. And I was like, is everybody out here moisturizing
Yeah,
their
why is no one
bum?
talking about this? Why is no one put me onto this?
Yes, everybody else has got a puckered pomponi, and I'm over here all dry as a husk, just trying to rock it out.
People out there recommending oregano/oregano oil.
Yes.
Why is no one mentioning the vulva cream?
Yes, exactly. And it's a nice sort of, it's very natural. It does feel just like when you look at it, it just looks like not quite Vaseline, like not quite that thin, but like it's made out of somebody ground up a bunch of yams or something. It feels like natural, but it's like, just a little bit more holding in the moisture.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
There
a
you
nice
go.
little feeling of being like always, because you get to your mid-40s and you can't guarantee it. Sometimes you think surely wet, and then you check and you're like, huh? that didn't go to plan.
No.
And so now I can guarantee surely wet.
Good.
Just to begin with, I'm very happy keeping the ecosystem balanced.
Well, you give that a little 5-star review.
Yes, I think, guys, moisturize your holes. I'm just saying there are products out there that want to help you, and they're made of good things, and you don't have to be starting forest fires out there just going on a walk, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you've been looking for a catchphrase. Moisturize your holes could be it.
One of my closest male friends is like, yeah, I've been moisturizing my butthole for years. I don't know what everybody else is doing. And I was like, whoa, you need to talk to your friends.
Yeah. Well, listen, I feel like I need to go make some purchases after this. Dry as a bone back there.
You might find that things are just a little bit easier.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, or whenever, the middle of the day, or the beginning of the day, depending on who you are.
Yeah. Is it weather dependent? Because no, I'm asking seriously because obviously when it gets cold outside, that's when I would start to use a chapstick.
Use the chapstick
on my
more
lip.
than in the summers. That
yeah.
does. I hadn't actually paid attention to whether or not I feel drier during one half of the year versus the other. I think it's just, at this stage,
I'm start journaling.
Also, when you start wearing lip balm, for instance, you wear it all the time, right? So
you can never go back.
Yeah,
You start feeding that beast.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
right? So like, it could be August and you could be pouring sweat and you're still like, but this part needs to be very moisturized. So I haven't actually tried to write it out and go like, well, maybe the summers is just going to be fine. But also like, how anatomical. Like also, it just because it's humid outside doesn't mean that's going to like reach up to where you want it to go.
No, I understand. Yeah. You're nurturing your own microclimate.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
So it's like a, like if you have a greenhouse, it's like you're gonna mist it. You're gonna kind of keep it flowing all the time because you're trying to control this climate and it's enclosed.
Exactly.
Somewhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you've got a butterfly farm,
Yeah.
It's
totally.
it's gonna have its own micro ecosystem.
Yes, you have to walk and you're like, oh, let's not disturb anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you for being the kind of friend / person I've worked with one other time that I can just talk to about my microclimate.
Do you know what? It's absolutely fine. I find it fascinating. And I have a different body to you, and so there's a lot of
just a bit.
There's a lot of mystery, from a male perspective about what happens with female anatomy.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably good. And also, it's not a thing I've ever heard of. And so there may be someone out there now with dry vulva listening. You're changing lives.
Well, and also the thing, it's one of those things too that you might not actually realize how dry your vulva has been until you re-moisturize it. And you're like, wait a second, man, I let these things go for years and this is wonderful. How have I been denying myself this creature comfort?
Yeah. It's like the first time you use an air fryer. You think, how have I survived without this?
It. Exactly, right?
We move on
to
your next receipt. And this is a purchase you regret.
This is so dumb. So the purchase I regret only because it was like recent, fresh in my mind is I went to an eye smash for the first time. No shade on eye smash. I know they exist for a reason. I went there to buy a lightning charger because I was out and my phone is at the age where, first of all, it still requires a lightning charger.
I'm the same. I'm with you.
I
We're a dying
refuse to buy
breed.
another one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And if I buy another one, it's also going to be old. But like, I hate the thing when it's like if you have an iPhone, you go into the Genius bar and there's a 17-year-old who's laughing at you because your phone is so old. And they're basically just there to shame you by being young and to convince you to buy a brand new friggin' phone. Because they won't fix the battery on your phone because the battery is designed to die and every update takes off half the life. And so I'm now at the place where my iPhone 12, yes, needs to kind of constantly go to a place to be replugged in because I don't do the thing where you don't charge it overnight because it drains the battery, because then you're going to wake up and your phone's going to be half dead and you don't have time to charge it up before you run out of the house. So I just need to have a charger on me, and I have like a little, battery thing, but it still requires the whole setup, like super janky. And I normally have a charger on me, and I was certain I had it on me, except for I didn't. And I had 38% and draining fast.
Yeah.
Because once it's at a tipping point, it's like, vroom.
Yeah, 38% is good for me.
Okay.
I'd be pretty buzzing about that.
But also 38% when you're going to be like, when it's 4 in the afternoon and you're not going to get home until 9, you're like, that's not going to be, I need to plug this in somewhere, right? Especially because it just seems to go. Like, you're like, I do want to listen to music. Ugh. So I went in there and I bought like the cheapest one I could find. And I was like, because I knew I already had one. I have like 7 of these things.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have it on me. And I went in there, bought the thing, went to go plug it in, reached into my like sort of inner jacket liner pocket, and there was the charger that I thought I'd left at home.
Yeah.
So it was just, I regretted it because of that. I mean, obviously because you don't need 2 on the day, and you've just spent, I mean, at this point it was only 13 quid, but it's just like 13 quid I could have used somewhere else.
Yeah.
Something I don't need. And it was that reminder of so I looked in my bag in the place that I thought it would be, and then I panicked. And I was at London Bridge, so I just went into the store and bought it, as opposed to going like, wait a second, take a beat, don't freak out. You know that thing that can happen to some of us with like probably a very dysregulated nervous system, where you wake up and like one thing is off and you're like, that's it, I'm gonna have the worst day. It's already set. Everything sucks. And like, you just sort of create the conditions for everything being bad.
Yeah.
And it was part of that sort of continuum where I was just like, and then my phone's gonna die and I'm just gonna be raw dogging it out here listening to life. It's like, not like I wouldn't know how to get myself home, but it's like all the little things that you're thinking about that are gonna be terrible for you. And so you just have to immediately remedy the slight discomfort of possibly not having a phone for the second half of the day.
Yeah, for like 2 hours.
Yes. I mean, and also just doing the freak out of like, you can go to some place and somebody's going to have a freaking lightning charger there. Like you go to a place and usually people have like 6 chargers by a desk and they're like, which one do you need? Like, but I had gone one place and they were like, sorry, we don't have that here. And I was like, fine, I'm going to go buy one then. And it was, I think I regretted it just because not only had I needlessly spent the money on something that was right there, and it was indicative of my crumbling middle-aged mind, that I was just like, oh no, I completely forgot that I put it there on purpose the day before because, anyway. But it was that going into the freak out spiral of creating bad things for yourself because one thing went not according to plan. And you're like, this is just my luck. Oh my God, of course, everything's horrible and it's going to be like that forever. And I was like, okay, you just calm down, breathe, check every pocket. I do overcompensate for the fact that women's clothes don't often have pockets by wearing 1 to 2 jackets that have like 7 or 8 pockets.
Yeah,
and so
like you're in the military.
Pretty much. And so there's a good chance it's somewhere. But at the point at which you've emptied everything, and I didn't go through that, I should have just emptied it. And I would have found it. But instead I was like, nope, fine. And I think that's why I regretted it. I did a pattern thing.
You know what? I really feel you on that. You've got ADHD, right?
I mean, I'm a comedian, so yeah.
Yeah. So I also have ADHD, and part of the ADHD tax is that we do forget stuff all of the time. And it drives my wife up the wall because I will often leave my house with the thought that everything will work out. It will be fine. You've forgotten this thing. It's fine. It will be okay. And I will be on like 20% battery. And I'm like, it will just work out.
Yeah.
I will find a way. Life finds a way. And I always do. And that is annoying. But I've had it many times where I'm like, I got no battery, but you can just go and ask someone.
Yeah.
And there are two types of people in the world. There are the people that are carrying a phone charger with them, and then there's us. And we rely on them.
Yes.
And you go to them and they have a charger. The most extreme version of that I've ever done. And it actually weirdly still gives me slight, I don't know if it's chills. I think I feel smug actually.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I like this.
So as a side effect of being on Radio 1, I choose to go and do DJ gigs sometimes, like where I go out and, play music to people. And
you show up with no kit, no records, just nothing.
This is the thing.
One cable and a drink.
had a USB stick, and it had all of my music on it.
Yeah, okay.
But I knew this gig was coming.
Yes.
And I was like, I cannot find this stick anywhere.
No backup?
No
of the
backup.
stick. Okay.
But I know I've got 3 hours of travel. So I was like, okay, it's all right. I'll get an empty one.
Yep.
And on the way, I will download the songs. And then I realized my laptop had about 4% battery. And I didn't have a charger. I left my charger at work.
So you need a stick and a charger.
Yeah. So now I've got an empty stick.
Yes. Okay.
And I've got a laptop that I need to use, but it's got 4% battery. And I'm leaving now to go to the gig, to get on a train to go to the gig without a charger or any music. And I left the house. And my wife was like, what are you doing? And I said, it'll be fine.
Oh my God.
I will work it out. And I was walking to the train station thinking, okay, how am I actually going to get a charger for my laptop I can use now on the train? I know. And I walked past a business, and it was an architect.
Okay.
And I just rat-a-tat-tat on the glass. And I went in and said, hello, sorry to bother you all. I've got a DJ gig. I left my laptop charger. I said, is there anyone here that trusts me that would let me have their laptop charger and I'll bring it back tomorrow? And a woman went, yeah, you can have mine. And she gave me her charger.
Wow.
And I went, and it was fine.
Of course it was.
And then the next day I dropped the charger back.
Oh my God. There's now I understand your wife so deeply. Okay, this is both a story about the sort of beauty of humanity actually underneath it all the things that we think aren't actually possible really are. People can trust one another and lift each other up and help each other out. It is also simultaneously a story of living inside of all of the particular privileges that you occupy. Because even your wife being like, this is going to be screwed up. The reason that particularly if we're just talking about gender binary, right? Women do not have a general sense that it's all going to be okay because typically it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to be okay unless we have a purse breaking half of our back down full of things that could remedy all of the possible crap that could happen to us in the time. So it's there's so much extra stuff inside of that bag of chargers and snacks and medicines and all these other things because all these things could go wrong. And also typically if a lovely bloke like you is looking around who has a charger, you're probably gonna go to a lady just subconsciously be like, I don't know, she'll probably help me out. And typically you'll see us with a bag of stuff and we probably have the solution or a friend next to us does, right? So there's that thing. And then just the sort of the sense of it's all going to be okay is this beautiful thing that is this freedom that I aspire to of just pure sort of Buddhist being in flow. And at the same time being it's only going to be okay if somebody else prepared. Right? So somebody's got to be the somebody else. Although these people were at their office, but just rat-a-tat-tat hi, I am a person off the street with a face. Would you trust me to take your charger and bring it back tomorrow? I mean, coin toss as to whether that would work for anyone less charming. And also just
I just figured people they're nice people.
Yeah. I mean, and but I also, when I hear that, I go, and I'm sorry to take it here, but I'm if you were a black dude who walked up and did that, how well would that work?
Probably not as well.
Right. So I'm just it also depends on who you are. And even for me as a woman, it's still dicey.
Yeah.
A lot of people were just like, no, sorry. And then you could come along and ask for the same charge. You're like, he seems trustworthy, right? So it's
I was prepared for a no. Because
no.
it is.
I
oh,
mean,
it is
you
a-
should be prepared
Yeah.
for a no, because that's like, but I wouldn't think that anyone would do that. Although I will say, one of the things that I noticed when I first started coming over to the UK, even before I lived here and traveled here, is how much more people are willing to be just trusting in this way that I find really beautiful and open. And one of the things I like about Britain is that, I mean, maybe some of that is changing now that time's gone on and things are getting a little tighter and whatever. But like, I think in America, people are so afraid because they're looking at things on the television that are like, be very afraid. Everybody at your door wants to kill you. When I first started coming over here, people were just like, oh, and you can stay at mine for free. And I'm like, we met at a pub once. Or when I moved here to be with the boyfriend I was with at the time, he bought something on eBay, like some backyard furniture. We drove up to Milton Keynes to pick it up. And the woman was just like, oh, do you want to come in for tea? And I was just like, we could be like axe murderers. Like, and you're just like inviting us into your, like, we'll just take the table and chairs. But the fact that she was like, come in and sit down and have a chat was just so like bonkers to me as somebody from outside of this culture, whereas you're nodding like, yeah, people might just invite you.
Well, they do, but
or maybe they're just saying it to be polite, but like still just the concept of someone being like, what if we had said yes? She would have fully let us come in and made tea.
Yeah.
You know?
I think part of it is that, and then part of it is also, I think I have a maybe a lack of the understanding of some social boundaries where I'm like, well, if I don't ask, I won't get. And my wife is very much like, and in a way,
That's also good.
There's a slight challenge there of like, it isn't going to happen. I'm like, just you watch.
Yeah.
But I always assumed that I would want to do right by other people and that I would want to help people. So if I go and ask for help, that I might meet someone who similarly would want to help.
Yeah.
I had another incident just before Christmas, actually. This one's quite bad. Where I was buying some, very last minute, some gifts for the people I work with
that's
at Radio
very
1.
kind of you, as opposed to just not showing up that last week.
Exactly. Did think about it. Buying some boxes of chocolates from like a nice chocolate shop. And went in. It was 15 minutes before I was due on air. I was cutting it really fine.
God, I love your life.
I went in, I said, I want to buy these. And they went, our card machine is down. You can't have them. I was like, this is my opportunity. I have to get these now. And they said, there's nothing, we can't sell them to you. And I said, well, why don't you just give them to me? Give them to me, and then I'll come back and I'll pay for them another time. And that way I get what I need. You're going to get what you need. I was like, let's do that. And this woman's like, we can't really. And I was like, you can. You
fully can.
You could just get.
Yeah.
She looked at the manager, and the manager was like, okay. So they gave me the chocolates. I got to go back and pay for them. But I've sorted it out since. But for like 2 days, I was a criminal on the run.
Oh my God.
Just completely forgot.
Oh my God. Everything about my entire existence has been blown. This is beautiful and insane. I don't even know how to feel about this. But while listening to this, which is incredible, by the way, bravo. I love the point you brought up about just sort of not necessarily being aware of or actually not really rating social boundaries and just going right past them into someone's like intimate space and being like, we could do this. And they're like, I mean, I guess I don't see why not, because most people wouldn't ever ask. And so I guess, sure, which is a wonderful way to kind of, I guess the spiritual community would call it manifesting.
Yes, just sort of molding the world.
Right?
With logic.
Yes, but you are shaping everyone is shaping their existence. And some people see their ability to shape as being a lot, like just quite powerful, which is wonderful. And I would say on the other side of that, one of the many downsides of growing up in the other is what it does to your brain and what it tells you about what your possibilities are. Because the majority of us, or maybe not the majority of us, but people like me wouldn't even dream of asking that because we're already imagining the no, the rejection, the like feeling of being othered, less than, or whatever. And so we don't even go there. So we don't even imagine the amount of freedom that we actually can occupy.
Yeah.
Because people are people and not everybody is going to react the way that people in your past have reacted, but we all are projecting our past into the present. And I mean, maybe you're doing that well, but in a much better way of being like, I've been helpful to other people and people have helped me. So why shouldn't they help me now? As opposed to the rest of us who think of a million reasons why they shouldn't help us and then don't ever ask.
Yeah, I can definitely see those reasons. I think I'm at peace with embarrassment.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Well, I mean, I guess that's one of the benefits that can come to your soul from a life as a performer. Is
Yeah.
that you have to embarrass yourself over and over again to be like in the present, and it's a testament to how great you are at what you do. That you're like, it's okay to be embarrassed like that. I'm not. You're not going to be someone like me who goes home and can't sleep at night because I'm like, oh my, I can't, oh my god, oh my god.
No, I don't have that.
That's amazing.
I definitely don't. We move on to your last receipt and its most ridiculous purchase. Please share it with me.
My most ridiculous purchase, at least the one that leapt to mind, was a box of cheap sex toys. Can I say dildo on your show? They were technically dildo.
You just did.
They were not vibrators. That would have been a price I could not afford that range.
Okay.
I just needed the silicone. Let's hope they were silicone. Something plastic dildos for a show that I was doing. This is the thing that I definitely have expensed.
You've expensed them, yeah.
I've expensed this. In this case, I've definitely bought larger quantities, but this was the time that I was coming over to do the Camden Fringe Festival. I'd already done Edinburgh one year, and then I wanted to perform in London. So I'd heard about the Camden Fringe, and I was bringing the show that I was touring at the time before I moved here called 52 Man Pickup. So it was a show with a deck of cards. Each card was a person from my sexual past. From which I learned something, even if what I learned was like, not you. Usually it was more than that. But in the show, I would shuffle the cards and I would play a series of card games. So the show was always random,
Fantastic.
Right? And it was interactive with the audience of being like, if I was playing Go Fish, I would be like, does anybody have a story like that? And then somebody from the audience would invariably like, oh yeah, well, this time this happened. And it was great because people were like, how do you get people to participate? And it's like, all you have to do is show vulnerability. And then people are like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then they tell you something that's like way more intense than anything you've ever experienced. And you're like, that was pretty cool. Well done. Like, great share. So it was an immensely fun show to do and to tour to various different places. And people were like, I mean, does it ever not work? And it's like, not yet, because most of the places I'm touring have that same sort of sexual repression that wants to be released, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you're in the States, you're in the UK, you're in maybe some other parts of Europe, but like, I don't know, as soon as you go to probably Italy, they're like, who cares? We're all having sex or whatever, like people were like, I wondered how this would work in more open cultures. But anyway, there was a part in which I think it was when I play, is it War or Mexico? But basically there's a female audience member. And I think it's Mexican Sweat is the name of the game, but it has various different names. But it's like the one where like it's kind of like the way you play Celebrity, where it's like card is not is facing away. I read the descriptions, and I had 3 guys sort of stand there and like be the physical embodiment of that particular dude or whatever, and like sometimes they're like or whatever, depending on what I described. And then I had a woman from the audience guess who the high card should be.
Got it.
And if she won, right, I had 2 different women do it, and whoever won got the dildo, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the dildo is more, I'm like, most women aren't going to use a dildo, and I mean, if they are, they're going to invest in a good one. So this was mostly just a joke. Like I had a friend who won it, who came to my show and won it. She's like, oh yeah, I just keep it in the bottom of my purse. And so like, cause she's also a comedian. So she's like, every so often I'll just be like at a checkout or whatever. And she's like, oh wait, I can't find that. And just put it on the counter. And I was like, I fucking love you. Yeah, so these were just these like pink dildos, but I had to order a box and get them shipped from the States over.
How many
here.
are we talking?
This time it was only 17. When I did the Fringe, I did the Fringe, obviously I knew I needed at least one for every night. So I ordered 24 or whatever for that point. But before that, I think I'd gotten a box of 100 or whatever. Because obviously you buy in bulk.
Yeah.
You get the
I'm going to get through these things.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went direct. I bought them wholesale.
Wow.
I bought some wholesale dildos, which if you don't have a business, and also like these were not dildos that I would ever sell. Do you know what I mean? They weren't great. They were just there and pink and penis shaped because that's all they needed to be and kind of jiggly
Yeah.
in order for the gag to work, Because I feel like you either get one good sex toy or 100 subpar ones.
Yeah.
And I chose the second.
Of course.
So
Yeah, it's not the sort of thing that if you're wandering around Costco, you necessarily find.
it's just wheeling your pallet of
Yeah.
dildos out to your truck.
Yeah. Desiree's back.
Yes, where it's like 5 gallons worth. I mean,
Yeah.
those are Costco proportions. Like a gallon of dildos.
Yeah, she's measuring them in a liquid form. We don't understand why.
When they get hot, they do get
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
sticky
yeah.
and melty. Say.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's it's definitely an unusual purchase, and the fact that they came from America through customs, I can only imagine the poor X-ray person.
You say that, but this is a kinky country, man. This cannot be their first, last, or even like anywhere on the first page.
Oh, I imagine they're seeing daily.
Daily,
Yeah.
only like, and I'm at the point at which you're like, we have homegrown dildos right here. Actually.
Exactly.
We only bribe British.
Yeah.
dildos. Brexit means Brexit. But yeah, I'm sure they're seeing that all the time. You know, usually probably from Germany, I would guess they do have a like monopoly on like quality sex items.
Well, just the German engineering.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you can't fault it.
Goes from 0 to 60 and half
Exactly.
seconds.
Yeah, great cars
Mhm.
and great dildos.
Yes.
Right, before we go to your final spend, I just want to test how well you know your prices of things in a game called Boom or Bust. I'm going to ask you 2 items. You tell me which one you think is the most expensive, and I'll tell you if you're right or not.
Okay.
Let's go, and it's against the clock, Desiree.
Okay.
What is more expensive, a pint of milk or a loaf of sliced bread?
Pint of milk?
No, it was a loaf of sliced
Dang.
bread. A medium latte or a pint of Guinness?
Medium latte.
No,
sorry.
it's a pint of Guinness.
No way!
Average Edinburgh Fringe comedy ticket or the UK's most expensive fish and chips?
The UK's most expensive fish.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
A weekend Airbnb in Amsterdam or a day in a luxury spa?
Day in a luxury spa.
Yes, a cruise to the fjords or a return flight to New York?
Wait, was the first one was what?
A cruise to the fjords.
Fjords. A return flight to New York. Flight to New York.
No, it's the fjords.
Dang, okay, fine.
A month's rent in London or a Tour de France bike?
A month's rent.
No, it's the bike.
What?
Yes, tickets to the World Cup final or an indoor golf simulator?
World Cup.
Yes, the most expensive car ever sold or Kim Kardashian's private jet?
Private jet.
Yes, Mark Zuckerberg's yacht or the most expensive Da Vinci painting?
The yacht.
No, it's the painting.
Okay, good.
The Empire State Building or Buckingham Palace?
Oh, Empire State Building?
No, it's Buckingham
wow, okay, that
Palace.
makes more sense.
We move to our final spend. Nationwide very kindly gave you some money.
Thank you,
But
Nationwide.
You couldn't buy anything you'd bought before. I'm intrigued. What did you buy?
I bought bought some no pooping signs for people who have dogs because now that I've saved that money for the house,
Yeah.
I now have the problem of like a rampant neighborhood pooper. There's like, okay, like they have a ginormous dog because the poops are so big, and the dog has chosen mine and my neighbor's house as its favorite toilet.
You live in London?
I do live.
Where-
I live in Southeast London.
So do I. Well, you don't live in Broccoli, do you?
No, I used to live in Peckham though, so I used
Okay.
to be right near you.
'Cause
Do you
there's-
have a pooper?
We've got a dog that is. It looks like a horse. That it's
Totally.
leaving its nonsense
Yeah,
around.
and it's one of those kind of like that's so much. Like it just makes me so irate because I'm like, look, I mean, a lot of us are gonna walk through it and not be able to see it, but like there are disabled people, there are blind people, there are people in wheelchairs that you're just like, just take my dog's poop home. It's like this much every time the dog poops, and I'm like, I get not wanting to carry that home, but like if you can't pick up after your dog, you can't take care of your dog.
Do you know who the owner is?
I think we literally just found out like a couple of days ago because I saw a guy with a massive boxer looking dog, like, but it was like this big kind of thing. And it stopped to sniff. And it stopped for long enough that I was like, this isn't like let's get away from here. This
It's like,
is like
someone's moved my poo.
Yeah, pretty much. Should I keep going? And I was like, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I went to my boyfriend. He's like, yeah, I think it's the big and I was like, okay, fine. Because like now I'm like, oh, do we need to invest in cameras and be those people? Because you know when you go to houses and they're like, no leaflets, no soliciting, no everything. And you're like, dude, like, do you like humanity? Like, just, are you saying no to life? Like, come on. And now that I've lived in this place for a couple of years, I'm like, I get it. And I'm becoming those people.
I had the same feelings because it was on the school run every day, these massive mounds of dog poo.
Yes.
And I was like, I need to find out who's doing this. And one day,
was gonna
I
say-
think I saw the guy. And my wife was like, well, there's nothing you can do. You can't prove it. And I was like, no, but I can just follow him until his dog does a poo. And then I will know.
Match it. Yeah,
I will
this
know.
is distinctive.
But I was like, I'm going to get a photo of the guy. And then I'm going to print them off. And I'm going to put them on little cocktail sticks. And I'm going to make flags with his face on that say, I didn't pick my dog's poo up.
And
I'm going to put him in every
poo.
And she said, please don't do that. And it has actually stopped. I don't know what's happened.
Okay.
But it's stopped.
Because we all have ideas of stuff that we're going to do that's really great.
If it comes back, I'm doing the flag.
You're doing
thing.
the flag. The one of my a friend Juliet, she lives in Hastings, and she puts glitter on it. I was trying to find some like glitter that was like biodegradable or something.
Yeah.
But like, so it's literal glitter on a turd, but then it also like forms an outline of where it is to bring attention to it. So, I mean, one, it's less likely you're going to step in it.
Yeah.
And two, also then the person's like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's making a bit of a point. Yeah, I like it.
I was like, oh, I need to put the glitter on the turd.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But
well, listen, let's go glitter and flag, I reckon.
Yes, glitter and flag and this sign, which I'm totally putting up on my fence like those people.
Yeah, do it. Well, we've got one for you to take home, but we also need to keep a record of what you spent your money on. So you can choose somewhere to pop this on the shelf. Where would you like? Would you want it on that one or this one? I can.
Okay, let me see. Where's a good?
Or you can stick it on the plant if you want, just so a dog doesn't do any wheeze in there.
That's perfect.
Hey, let's do that. Beautiful.
Stay. Is the poltergeist going to knock it over?
Quite possibly.
Be a good neighbor. I did pick the please. I have lived here long enough to understand that if you aren't polite, people are not.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's good. It's perfect. It's the perfect sign, and it should help. And a perfect way to finish for us as well. Desiree, thank you so much.
Pleasure, Matt. Thank you so much.
It's been a joy. Thank you for joining us on Spent, brought to you in association with Nationwide, a good way to bank. Right, that was that was a ride, wasn't it? There's so much going on there.
Really fun.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to us on YouTube. And don't forget, you can keep sending us your own spending confessions as well. I'd love to hear those. And I'll be back next time with another guest and another journey through their receipts. Hopefully they've not actually brought them in. I really hope you are enjoying Spent. If you want to see more, then follow us wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe on YouTube. Plus, check out This Is Money on Instagram and TikTok for bonus content with our guests.